Good evening. Welcome to Redline America. I'm your host, David Colbert. We're going to be talking a little bit today about some of the things that are going on currently here in our country. First of all, I just want to thank CTM News for giving me the opportunity to come once again and to join you here on the live here at Redline America. First thing we'll be talking about is this recent shooting in New York City last night, and this is an issue that we definitely need to deal with in this country, and it's really a sad situation, very sad situation because the things that are happening right now in our country, a lot of it is dealing with the mental health issues that face a lot of Americans in today's time. Especially, of course, we have the Trump derangement syndrome that's been going on for quite a while here. But I was just reading a little bit in the New York Post in regarding to New York City shooting. The shooter Shane Tamara, he was an apparent suicide note that was found and revealed. He was talking and discussing something about an injury, a health condition dealing with concussions, CTM. CTE. The crazed gunman who killed 4 people in Monday's Manhattan massacre thanked a documentary on CTE brain injuries and listed off the names of several prominent neuroscientists in his apparent suicide note, sources told the Post. The problem is a lot of times, and this is what we're talking about with the Democrat Party in regard to their use and their rhetoric that they have, a lot of people with mental health issues take these things and they run with them. They'll run all over the place with them in regard to what is going on in their life. They can imagine things and create things in their head. They can create the things that somebody's doing and nobody's really doing anything. But this Shane Tamara, 27-year-old, had rambling writings slashed in his wallet when he stormed the Midtown skyscraper at 345 Park Avenue. So we see that we got an issue here and we need to do something about it. It's getting really bad in this country in regard to these fear tactics. Unfortunately, the Democrat Party uses a lot of the time. Shane Tamara, although this wasn't necessarily a political thing, at least we don't believe it was, had those writings. Tamara, who claimed to suffer from CTE, had scribbled frontline on a documentary that he was talking about, and one of the pages, an apparent reference to the League of Denial document that probed the links between the NFL and the brain injury and head trauma. So he was in that building. This is pure craziness. This man, he drove over 2,500 miles to New York City to perpetrate something on the NFL, that he considered responsible for these type of brain injuries that are going on right now in our society, which is crazy because this really had nothing to do with the NFL. He was a young football player many years ago when he was in high school, and he thought that this was the condition that he had, that he was dealing with in his own life in regard to his health, his mental health. And so he transferred that. This is a problem. You got to stop these things with these rhetorics and things like that that cause people with mental health issues to go off. They lose it. They don't understand normal communication in regard to things such as when you deal with somebody who has, I guess it's called hypochondria, you start believing that you are suffering from something that you may or may not be suffering from. The note also made mention on Farrell brothers, the two ESPN reporters who co-wrote the League of Denial book. The names of several doctors were featured on one page, including Dr. Ann McKee, who is a chief neuropathology at BU, dealing with Alzheimer's disease research center, and Dr. Christopher Nowinski, the co-founder of Boston University CTE. Now, these people you need to watch out because they start naming you and stuff like that. Believe you me, there's some other crazies out there, people who have mental health issues. Pardon me, I don't mean to not be professional, using the professional term as mental health, with mental health issues that will take these names and start going after these people. So we need to be very careful. And he named this in his little article thing that he put out there, but the media needs to be careful when they're putting things out like this because people run with this stuff. That's like they mentioned the NFL. This guy drove 2,500 miles and perpetrated 5 murders because of that video and thing that he saw. That is a mental health issue, and these things need to stop. There's a very sad situation happening. I was reading also in the New York Post about an employee who was killed at that Midtown rampage. She was a Cornell graduate, and the crazed madman took an elevator to the wrong floor. Now, this young lady, she didn't know she was doing her job or going where she needed to get to. And this man is 27 years old. She was 27 also as well. A Cornell graduate tragically landed in a Park Avenue killer's crosshairs because he accidentally took the wrong elevator to her employer's floor and encountered her. She's shooting her dead. What a horrible thing this is, that these types of things are happening in our country. And this, I am associated loosely with an organization, not really associated with. My wife works for an organization who are very aware of these mental health issues. And I'll mention this because it needs to be mentioned. It's in the city of Houston and Texas, Tri-County Behavioral Health Care. These people are constantly coming out and talking about these issues. And talking about the mental health issues we face in our society. It is getting worse. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. And with these recent things that have gone on, even the attempt on former President Trump at the time on his life came from people reading information and reading things into stuff. So these things have got to stop, and we need to understand in the media as well, mental health issues. You just can't be saying anything, and our politicians, especially the Democrat Party, with these recent things of telling people go out and hurt somebody, make them pay for being people of common sense, because pretty much what they're saying. What they're asking for is people to attack other people. People who are Trump supporters too, and they've done this to MAGA people. To me, they're elevating these types of things in their party, and we need to stop this. This needs to stop, and the only way I believe it's going to stop is we make it and make those criminally responsible for those things that happen because of their sayings. And a lot of people are going to suffer because of their loose tongues. It's an old saying they used to say, I don't think he came up with it, but Flip Wilson used to always say it all the time, loose lips sink ships. Now, people have seen it before, and they've seen that program, but I'm just saying this is a type problem. These things cause problems. Now, on another note, in Cincinnati, Ohio, we have another issue. Now, this wasn't a direct individual mental health. This is a group mental health issue. There's a lot of people out here, some of certain races, that have violent tendencies. Now, I'm not going to mention any races, but we saw the videos, we saw the things that happened. These things have got to stop. And let me tell y'all something. You can't blame any particular race, any particular gender, or anything else on some of the foolishness that's going on in this world. You know, I'm a pastor, so I'm telling you, sin is sin. People want to avoid it. They want to take it out of the mainstream. They want to take it out of the church. There's a lot of pastors. They don't tell people about these things. So people just go on doing whatever they want to do. We can't do that. We've got to bring these things to the forefront so that people understand that there are issues and there are consequences for behaviors like this. Now we see in this situation in Cincinnati, these people just lost it. Some try to point to alcohol and all these things like this. But I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the Democrat Party. Now, you might get mad at me for saying it's one party, but it is because they're taking these things and they're putting it in the communities that get upset over these things. Always using race as an issue. And here this recent thing, and even in my son's school and things like that, they constantly want to put it toward white people. Let's put it that way. Let's bring it out the way it should be said. Those were whites that were attacked by another race. Now, I didn't have to tell you the race. But I'm just saying, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting crazy. People can't even feel safe on their own streets, in their own cities, because of these propagated foolishness going on by the Democrat Party because a certain race or creed or color do not vote for them anymore. Now, I'm one of them. Just to give you a slight clue. I don't vote for them anymore. I never did, really. I kind of stopped voting Democrat back when I was 18 years old, which has been a long time ago. And the problem is you get people all stirred up, you get all emotional and all these things like this, and some people cannot control their emotions, and a lot of people are having mental health issues, and we do not know about those people. So to go out like some of these people, Democrats have been doing, like Jasmine Crockett, like AOC, and all these other ones going out here, and Bernie Sanders propagating the socialist, communist speech, targeting people and thinking that this is okay. It's not okay. But for these things cause people with mental health issues to act, to cause problems in our society. We need to stop these crazy things. We need to show responsibility and care for our people. Now, I had posted a video a little while ago on my site about President Reagan. He said a long time ago, years ago when he was in office, he said the Democrats were not for the American people. Whatever they supported was always against the American people. To me, what I see in Washington, I see that these Democrats that are in Washington are just criminals. They support criminals. That's it. If you're a criminal, especially a criminal alien, God, they love you. They'll go to your country. They'll fight for you to stay in our country to continue to commit mayhem in our country. Well, I thank God for President Trump that he's not going to allow this craziness to continue. And this is something, I can't believe this. When I heard this, I'm like, what the heck? And the New York Post did a little article on this, and I'm going to read some excerpts for that article, where Miss Devine had a little interview with President Trump in Washington. They found the idea of Hunter Biden and Jasmine Crockett 2028. This is the stuff Democrats are talking about. Two crazies were running for presidential office. I don't think they're going to do it in 2026. I pray that you have wisdom enough to get out and vote Republican or vote independent out from what's the name. Now, as far as I can see, I know that there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure going on with some of the politicians, on those politicians like Fetterman, who's finally got some sense, and Eric Adams and people like this who are trying to use a common sense view on things. Now, these people, I consider them moderates, but the thing is this sanctuary city idea is over. President Trump found this Hunter Biden Jasmine Crockett ticket to be, quite frankly, amusing. And he was on the latest episode of Pod Force One, which I think is Miranda Devine. He said that would be some ticket. No, these people are crazy, so you never know what's going to happen. Trump quipped after the post, Miranda Devine joked that Hunter and Jasmine Crockett could be the joint ticket. The just came after Trump weighed in on Hunter's decision to come out forcefully in defense of his father, former President Joe Biden, in a pair of interviews last week. Now, Hunter he's insane. Simple as that. To me, that's what he's crazy. His mind has been destroyed by crack and other drugs and other alcohol, all these things like that. I don't even know why they got this man out there interviewing anywhere. Nowhere. Why are you interviewing him? You know he's out of his gourd. The former first son blamed Democrats for 2024 for the electoral loss of the party ditching his father. Joe Biden was out of his mind. He had dementia. Simple as that. Come on. I've worked in senior citizen homes and other organizations like that, and I was looking at him for all those years he was in there. I'm like, this man has dementia. He is going through different stages of dementia. By the time before he left office, he reminded me of this man who was, I don't know what the man's name is. He was 90-some years old, and he had dementia real bad. Actually, he looked better than Joseph Biden. But Hunter blamed the Democrat Party for the disastrous June 27, 24 debate performance against Trump on use of Ambien, apparently without a prescription, obviously. But the thing is, you can't blame anybody. It was a sad situation. That man should have never been in office. They cheated to get him in office, and they pretended like, oh no, everything was okay. Let me tell you the truth. We see all this stuff that's in the news recently about Obama and all these things about this, what do you call that thing, that those reports that they propagated and built up that say President Trump was colluding with the Russian, which garbage. It was garbage. And we're going to find out as time goes how the 2020 election was rigged. It was a rigged election. I mean, I watched this thing. I watched elections. I watched, the election as it came. I was even watching Fox News, and I watched them in a commercial. The numbers were one way in Electoral College, and I saw the numbers flip in the next session of the thing. So I'm like, no, this is not right. And I don't know if anybody else noticed it or not, but when President Trump supposedly lost the 2020 election, the numbers were exactly the same in Electoral College votes as they were when he was running against Hillary Clinton and he beat her. So that tells you something was fishy with that anyway. Exactly the same numbers. Check it out if you don't believe me. Well, they had two chances to win the election. Trump told Miranda Devine they had him and that it didn't work out. And he was down by 25 points. Something. And then they switched him. It's like a prize fighter out in the middle fight. I mean, that was crazy to me. I don't know about you. It was crazy to me. How you gonna switch somebody? The people didn't even vote for this woman. She didn't even receive the primary votes that were necessary to be the candidate. Yes, she was in there. But this is the kind of criminal, I call this criminal. Because how can you go against the people? The government is supposed to be for the people, of the people, and by the people. Harris never fit in that category. Neither time. Even when Joe Biden pulled her out, he only pulled her out because she was a DEI hire. And the girl struggles with alcoholism. I don't care what nobody says. I've seen these things over the years. So we need to start getting things right. And I want people to understand that they need to get out and vote. When the 2026 election comes up, please do get out and vote. And I might even say, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think that David Colbert may be throwing his hat in the ring for Congress here in the state of Texas. But we have to see how that works out. But I want to thank you for joining us here on the Red Line America. This is our new program on CTM Network. And I thank you for joining me. Please come back, check us out again. We'll be back at you. And I'm not sure exactly when the next show's coming, but I'm hoping it comes soon. But we need to pray, for one thing. We need to pray and understand, and I'll continue to say this, the battle is not between Democrat and Republican. It's between good and evil. And if you look down through the years, you look down through all the things that have happened in our country, how the Democrats tried to flip the switch on the Republicans. I came up in the communities with the Democrats. They were the ones always pushing racism. They were ones always pushing black, white, this whole thing. Over all the years, it was the worst place to live and to be brought up. I ain't going to tell you the city I was brought up in, but I'm just saying it was the worst place to live in. Controlled by Democrats. Nancy Pelosi's dad was a mayor there at one time. That'll give you an idea of what we're talking about. D'Alessandro. But we thank you for joining us here on the Red Line America. And I want to say what you like I always like to say after all my programs. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. And have a great time. I'll see you the next time here on the Red Line America.